Killed this shit again, bro.
So softly lighting up the night.
Floating, wavy like the ocean. My physical emotions show my spirit as an omen. I'm in motion like the seven seas. Connect with men and them who think like Elohim. My flow warm like a sunbeam. My third eye shine red like the waters in your bloodstream. Young king, my tongue shine without a tongue ring. My talking bling bling like it's nothing. Glowing like slick brick chains at its apex. You basic if you want love without the hatred. It's dangerous, having faith amongst the faithless. To stay in tune with the ancient and amens. Prayers to the dead and those that deserve killing. Your life is a gift, your presence is Thanksgiving. And to the wise every day is a holiday. And to my enemies, every day's a borrowed one. Black Storm. Peace, power, and prosperity. Rob Blackstorm on the late night. All right, for the West Coast, probably a little bit after midnight. Shout out to the West Coast. Shout out to the East Coast. Shout out to the South. Shout out to the North. All right, shout out to the Midwest. Shout out to everyone who is here, who is tapping in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I appreciate you. Appreciate your time. All right, so shout out to you that are here. If you are here, smash that like button. All right, we're not gonna waste too much time because it is late night and I got a gym to get to in a couple of hours, so I gotta take a nap, another nap. So let's get into it. So we see we have the Grammys tonight, right? Big deal. Everybody's like, oh, the Grammys, look at, Kendrick Lamar won all these Grammys and Doechii and Beyonce, right? Well, let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. This European, right? And there's a difference between a Caucasian and a cracker, as I always say, right? So these crackers, right, that own the Grammys, right? Because it's filmed on CBS. They're never going to give you anything, right? Unless there's an agenda. Anything that they give you, any type of handout, for instance, we're going to use a quick example, then we're going to get right into it, right? When they gave melanated people welfare, right? One of the stipulations was that the man could not be in the house. You could watch this in 3D. The movie Claudine breaks it down with James Earl Jones. The man could not be in the house, all right? And if the man was in the house, right? Shout out to the Nightbreed, right? The Vamps, Shout out to the Nightbreed, the Vamps. But the man cannot be in the house, right? And that's just one example. Whatever they give you something like DEI, right? Where there's only 4% of melanated people that benefit from DEI, but white women benefit the most, and the LGBTQ under them, and then white male veterans, and so forth and so on, till we're at the melanated people are at the bottom, right? So whenever they give you something, please believe that there's an agenda. And I'm going to sound like a hater. I hate to pop your bubble. Okay. Ultra says Claudine is on here for free. So that's perfect. Yeah, so you should watch that if you haven't seen that, right? It's very insightful for where we are today and kind of a precursor to why the melanated family is divided as there is, besides just the propaganda and the agents that are placed in the matrix to divide us and, for the misandrist and the misogynist, right? And we're going to talk a lot about misandry as well before I end this video, because that's a plague, especially amongst the so-called mystical and spiritual women, right? I'm hearing it a lot. Like there's a lot of misandry out there. Like men can't do this magic thing like as good or even better than some of these so-called mystics and witches, right? But let's get into this whole thing about the Grammys. And I just want to ask a question, right? Are these people now like us, right? Because the song by Kendrick is They Not Like Us, right? That's the song that we were singing. That they not like us, they not like us, they not like us. So are they all of a sudden now, because they're handing out Grammys, right? Because they're handing out gold trinkets, because they're giving out, and this is how ironically, if you study the story of slavery, right, how melanated people were tricked to come from Africa, and yes, there were people that were slaves, just like there were people that were here. There were people that were originally here as well, the so-called Native Americans, and there were people that were brought here from slavery, right? Don't let none of these agents on here that be using these books and so-called proof lie to you, because you could prove anything, right? But you have to use your discernment, right? I hate to say common sense because there's no such thing as common sense. Everybody has a different way of doing things, but you have to use your discernment when you're listening to some of these people and do your own research based on what they say. When you watch these YouTube videos by these people, make sure you have a pen and a pad, right? And make sure you go back and double back, because a lot of times some of the things they say are just not true. And you want to have an understanding for yourself so that you could teach it. The worst thing I hear is when people recite things from a YouTube video, right? And then I ask them, well, what does that mean? Or, oh, I got to go back and watch it. Or, well, I don't really know. Or, yeah, I got to look at it again. So you don't really know. And we're in the age of Aquarius. The age of Aquarius is the age of knowing, right? So let's get into this. So Kendrick won all these Grammys for Not Like Us, right? He won, believe it's 5 for Not Like Us. Kendrick Lamar won Song and Record of the Year for his diss track, Not Like Us, at the 2025 Grammys, taking home 2 of the night's top honors. He says, we're going to dedicate this one to the city, Lamar said before, shouting out Los Angeles area neighborhoods. Shout out to Kendrick for doing that, shouting out his city. Ain't nothing wrong with that. He won all 5 Grammys. Not Like Us was nominated for on Sunday, taking his career total to a whopping 21. All right. The other categories included Best Rap Performance, Best Rap Song, and Best Music Video, which I believe the artist Doechii won. We're going to get into that first. We're going to get into that too. Now, one of the things I want to show you with this is if you look at DJ Mustard, right? DJ Mustard has all the classic colors, which are in white, right? And I've talked about black and white in media, black and white in magic, black and white in Freemasonry. And what that is them controlling the positive and negative aspects of energy, right? So them controlling what is positive and what is negative, meaning the media. The media is a medium for spell casting, all right? That's why you have music cast, right? That's why you have movie cast, right? The cast is on the movie to convey emotions, to convey feelings, right? To have you more immersed in the film so that your brain could sync to whatever message that they're trying to convey through the film or through the music, right? And a lot of these artists that we even have nowadays are like Milli Vanillis, whether people know it or not, right? A lot of these artists are not even the creatives themselves. And we've seen that with Drake, who was the target of Not Like Us, right? So that's one aspect of this. The second aspect of this is the music industry's way of crushing Drake completely for doing the lawsuit, right? Don't think that the people in the know don't know that Kendrick Lamar's song They Not Like Us is about people that are not melanated. That song is about melanated people. Let's not get it twisted. All right. Let's not act like he's talking about it's not a We Are the World song. They Not Like Us is specifically for melanated people, and it's specifically about melanated people, especially when he talks about, in Atlanta and the railroad and trains and how Kendrick is a colonizer. All right. So all these things were designed, targeted, and meant to emotionally influence melanated people and also to crush Drake. So Drake comes out, right? He loses the battle. We all know, unless you've been sitting under a rock, that Drake has filed a lawsuit, right, against Not Like Us, filed a defamation lawsuit, which was never, ever done in the music industry. But he didn't go against Kendrick, right? He went against the music industry itself, Spotify and UMG. That is the music industry. Most people have Spotify. Most music is on Spotify now. Like I have Tidal, and I'm about to have to leave Tidal because now a lot of songs are not on that I had on my playlist are gone. They just not streaming on Tidal for whatever reason. So I'm being forced, because I'm a music lover, I'm being forced to go to Spotify, right? I necessarily don't want to, right? I signed up for Tidal because Jay-Z was talking about black ownership, like, which is I got caught up and swept up in that mess, right? Because most of the time when you hear about black ownership thing, they usually sell after a while, right? They usually sell the companies. You see that with Title. I saw that with Fat Farm, right? I saw that with all these Bevel, right? All these companies, they usually sell them to Caucasians after a while. They'll start up, yeah, buy black, yeah, black owned, yeah, it's a black owned company, and then they'll sell it to a Caucasian for a couple of billion or billion later, and then all that shit is gone. So UMG and Spotify control the music industry, right? So Drake attacking them with his lawyers. Now remember, Drake is one of them, right? He's not like us, right? He is a descendant. His mother is an Ashkenazi Jew, right? So that's the womb he came out of, and he grew up as a traditional Jew, right? Even going through what you call it, the Jewish circumcision rites and the bar mitzvahs, right? He talks about this, all right? So this is not me just making something up. So what they are doing, and the reason that Kendrick got all these awards is twofold, right? The first is what I told you, to further destroy Drake in front of the public, because when Kendrick came up, everybody was singing A minor, right? Everybody was singing the part A minor. And the second, and I'm sure there were industry plans in the audience that sparked that, right? I would bet good money that that's exactly what happened. And secondly, the whole thing is to get you, the viewer, to re-believe in these people, right? Re-believe in these people as stars, re-believe in these people as idols, as heroes. It's a form of celebrity worship. And as I told you, somebody was telling me this, right? Shout out to Star. She was telling me that, yo, you talked about this last year with the Super Bowl in 2024, and I didn't even realize, I totally forgot about it. But I was telling y'all that and we'll get into it actually, because I don't want to get too long-winded because I got a lot to share. But Kendrick, in this particular Grammy speech, right? He broke down. Oh, they did me dirty. All right, let me do this. Because there's a part I want you to see, and if it doesn't load, don't worry, I'm gonna still show you. In this particular speech, you're gonna see. Now, remember, I showed you just a little while ago, DJ Mustard was here, and I'm not gonna play the speech because he didn't really say anything impressive. All he did was shout out Dre and Swiss. And if you notice, right, if you notice in this particular clip, where is it at? Oh, yeah.
What's up?
Please hold up. I want you to notice that they're also wearing all black. All right. And we saw this all black thing at the Super Bowl of 2024. Black, what it does is it absorbs light. All right. Black absorbs all the colors of the electromagnetic spectrum, aka the rainbow. So from purple to red, right? Really, even when you go up to higher than red, which is ultraviolet and beyond, right? Or lower than with red, which is infrared, right? All those colors in the electromagnetic spectrum are frequencies of energy, right? All these different frequencies and pockets of energy have different influence on the human body, have different influences on the flesh, right? For instance, if you're wearing green, most likely you're going to want to connect with people. You're going to want to connect with nature because nature is green, right? If you have a product, then it's a holistic product, meaning that it's a product with herbs, it's a product for health, right? One of the colors you want to utilize in marketing that product is green, because green is a color that designates health. It designates wellness, right? And if you look at a lot of health and wellness products, you'll see that, right? A color for war, right? Fighting, aggression, right, is usually red or crimson, right? You see that in your 300 movie, right? You saw that they were wearing red, they were wearing crimson. It's the colors of aggression, assertiveness, a Martian color, right? Purple is a color that designates royalty. It designates rulership. It designates the crown chakra, right? It designates kingship. So you see people that in royalty or royal positions wearing purple. For instance, whenever there's an inauguration, the wives always wear purple. You could go back as far as you want. You'll always see the women and the wives wearing purple because it represents royalty, right? And also the feminine energy that helps propel royalty, which is inner gnosis or inner knowledge or enlightenment, right? That's when the crown chakra is at its peak, when you are enlightened. The physical world is just a light and sound show, right? So black absorbs all the colors. Whenever you want to think of melanin, in particular, eumelanin, not neuromelanin, like these people tell you, eumelanin, EU melanin, the letters AU are the element of gold. A and E are both vowels that could be interchanged. So the eumelanin, right, what it does, it absorbs light, just like Black Panther's suit, and you convert that light to energy. What happens to a lot of people is they don't know what to do with that energy, right? So because they don't know what to do with that energy or that light energy, right, it goes to drugs, it goes to overeating, it goes to hypersexuality, right? It goes to stress, it goes to depression, it goes to conspiracy theorizing and trying to figure out every single thing that the white man is doing. It goes to all sorts of distractions, video games, right? Porn, right? If you don't know how to utilize that energy, you will waste it, right? It will dissipate it, or it will turn into some sort of disease, heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, all the things that we suffer from because we have this energy coming into this Black Panther suit. And what they want to do with that energy is fill you with fear. Remember, we just had these fires in LA, right? Where a lot of these celebrities' homes burned out. I didn't watch the Grammys. I don't watch the Grammys because who gives a damn about a goddamn Grammy, right? That's the culture I come from. Shout out to Public Enemy. But they use these colors to entrance you. And like I said, you see Mustard wearing the same colors, right? Black and white. All right. Kendrick's not wearing that because Kendrick knows better. All right. Kendrick's already in tune, so he knows what's up. You know what I'm saying? Is he happy to win a Grammy? Of course. Am I happy to see Kendrick shine? Of course, right? Who doesn't want to? You know, I do music. I did music for a while. Why does it keep doing this? I gotta figure this out. All right. Um, but that's what keeps happening, right? And what they're trying to do is put you in a position to where you are worshiping them. Your light, right? Same way, again, darkness, melanin absorbs light and converts it to energy. It blocks out certain negative radiation from the sun, which is why you could go out in the sun. Africans could be out in the sun. Jamaican people, right? People from the Caribbean could be out in the sun and not worry about their skin getting burned, right? This is not racism. This is not reverse racism. This is just facts, right? So they do these things to capture your attention and to keep your focus and your perception and your third eye lens locked on them. All right. So we see Beyonce also, right, won an award. All right. Beyonce's reaction to winning the Grammys, right? She was looking crazy. You know, she was looking shocked about winning the Grammys, right? But I don't think Beyonce was as shocked as she appears. I'm pretty sure she knew she was going to win the Grammy. I'm pretty sure this was all an act, right? But she won the best country album. Shout out to her. But again, she's also one of the people that was in the Super Bowl wearing black. Beyonce is one of the biggest artists out here, especially amongst melanated people. So they're using Beyonce as a vehicle, again, to keep your attention focused on them. The influencers are the real celebrities now. The influencers, the Kai Sanats, the Speeds, the I Show Speeds, the Mr. Beast, right? All these people that are not mainstream are the real celebrities. That's why you see all these people now coming to YouTube, right? All these quote unquote celebrities coming now to YouTube because the influencer is the real celebrity. Where did Trump go? Trump went to Joe Rogan, right? Trump went to all these other podcasts, right? Kamala tried it, but she did it late in the game. It was too late. right? For her to even capture the momentum, right? And yeah, Ultra, she does not look happy, right? Whenever you see a melanated woman with blonde hair, you got to question like her mentality, right? And I always say this is not disrespect to anybody who has blonde hair right now, but I am saying it is bleach, right? It is a toxic chemical to put in your hair. That's fact. Fuck your feelings, right? That's just a fact. To dye your hair blonde, it is a toxic chemical. You are doing damage to your DNA when you are putting on blonde hair. That's not your culture, right? That's not where you come from. That's not how the hair comes out of your head, right? It doesn't come out blonde unless you're like an albino or something like that. So Beyonce is a major witch, all right? Major magician, right? I ain't even gonna call her a major mystic, right? She knows what's up. She knows what's going on. I'm pretty sure she knew this was gonna happen. So again, the main thing though is they want to keep your attention, right? And keep you in this particular frequency where you're watching them and you're focusing on them and you're engaged in the gossip and you're engaged with how great the Grammys is, and you forget the history of the Grammys. Now, shout out to Doechii, right? For winning the Grammys. Again, I'm not hating on these people winning Grammys. What I am saying is that there's purpose behind all of a sudden, all these melanated people just winning Grammys all of a sudden, right? But it wasn't always like this, right? And this is not like a corporate, like we don't have any ownership in this, right? There's no, and I'm talking about fiscal, financial ownership, right? We're not getting paid for this. And I'm going to show you how this is even like cap, right? This is like, well, anyway, use Doechii, right? New artist, right? I listen to some of her music. I'm not the biggest fan of Doechii, but I love music. So I always tune into the new artists, the younger artists. I like some, you know what I'm saying? The little babies, you know what I'm saying? Even some of the R&B artists, Young Day and things like that. I fuck with the youth. If the music is good, I don't care if you're 5 years old. Like if the music is good, I'm a rock with it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have these like biases that a lot of people have. But if the music is good, I'm a rock with it. I don't care what age you are. Again, I don't care if you're 3. If the song is banging, I'm a rock to the song. So anyway, they have her, right? Melanated Queen, stripped down. She's still wearing the black and white as well. It's in the top and the bottom, right? And again, she probably doesn't even know what she's doing. She's just happy to be here, right? She's just happy to get this recognition. She's just happy to get that gold trinket, right? To show, or that gold, what's it? I think it's called that gold. Let's just call it a record player for lack of a better term, right? I think it's called a chromophone or something like that. Let's just call it a record player. She's just happy to get a gold record player and get her recognition for artistry, right? She doesn't realize what she's doing. And she doesn't realize that she's asked out at the awards. And I've seen her asked out before in another, presentation. You know what I'm saying? It was that's what actually put her on my radar. Like I saw her performing somewhere in Philly, I believe, and yeah, she was in her drawers, right, with the top. I'm not hating on her being sexy. I'm just saying that a lot of artists, they don't put out like this during their debut album. They don't have them in bras and panties performing, right? And this may have been her choice. I'm not saying it's not her choice. But I am saying it is something that they do to the queens, right? I remember when they did this to Lauryn Hill back in the days, and Lauryn Hill was always dressed kind of modestly and conservatively. Then all of a sudden, they put on the cover of the Source magazine, and she was looking just like Doechii. You know what I'm saying? And you could go back to your Googles and pull up that Source magazine for those of you who are too young to even understand what I'm talking about. One time, magazine ran hip hop, right? If you was in the Source, you got those 5 mics, it ran hip hop. Like everybody in the early 90s, we was all reading the Source magazine if you fucked with hip hop. There was no internet, so that's where you got your hip hop news, from the Source magazine. Gramophone, thank you, Instinct. Yeah, they want to get that gold gramophone, right? And this is again how they got slaves. They gave them trinkets, right? They gave them guns, they gave them stuff from Europe, right? They gave them different things in order for them to sell their people to Europeans and bring them here to America. All right. So the gramophone is the same thing, to give you this sort of recognition that, and they gave it also. Killer Mike got one. All right. So they've been making this steady move because they want you to move away from your own influencers. They want you to move away from the common person having influence, the YouTuber, the Instagrammer, the TikToker, right? The person on Twitter. They don't want you to follow, and those people being the ones that influence you, because they cannot control them. Well, they can to a certain degree because they got agents, right? They got the fake influencers all out here, right? They got the new AI influencers, which they openly admitted, like they're putting tons of AI people out here, right, to influence people. And to, they even have they had a black woman, right, the supposedly gay, right, bisexual black woman as an AI, which Meta openly admitted that they created. So if they openly admit that they created, they show like 4 of them, and they were all like queer, you know, all these different type of stereotypes, so to speak, right? But woke, so to speak, stereotypes. And you know, they're putting these things out there for consumption. So, like Kendrick said, you know, it's time to let the party die, right? But this is still the party. This is still the party. And if you buy into this, then you are buying into the party. You're buying into what they're selling. So as far as the Grammys, like, we don't own this. And I'm talking about the collective, right? I'm talking about the collective of black and brown people. Like, yeah, this is a very melanated conversation right here. You know what I'm saying? We don't own this. The people that own this are CBS. CBS owns the Grammys, all right? And they've owned it for years. Let me do this because it's not loading. So we're going to move to the next thing. And as I showed you before, that, you know, you could see Swiss and all these people at the Grammys wearing black and white. But what I was trying to show you is just that CBS owns the Grammys, and CBS has the logo of the eye. All right, CBS logo. Let me see if I can pull it up on another. I mean, y'all should know what CBS logo like, but just to show and prove, because that's the era I come from. You know, I come up from, my original teachers were people from the Nation of Gods and Earths. And when you knowledge 120, meaning you memorize 120 lessons, right? You had to go back to your enlightener, which is what your teacher or your mentor, and you had to deliver those 120 lessons, right? And it had to be perfect. If you didn't, right, there were consequences and repercussions. You know what I'm saying? Some are beat down, some are isolations. You had to know your lessons, right? So yeah, CBS, right? See the BS, right? And this is what it is. So this is a perception game, right? This is a third game. This is a control game. And if you notice, most of your award shows are on CBS. Most of your award shows are on CBS. Let's see. And let's just pull up how many award shows. Let's see what Google tells. How many award shows are on CBS? Let's see what we get. And I'm showing you how they control your perception and what you think is valuable, right? And you think because they're rich and they're wealthy and they're successful musicians that those are the people to look up to. No, the real power is people. The real power is people. And this is science, right? Scientific studies show that the key to happiness is you being surrounded by people that love you, that care for you, that honor you, that inspire you, that help lift you up when you're down, that even eat with you, right? This is scientific fact that is the key to happiness. Not how much money you have, not your big house, not your big car, not your designer, right? It's people that nurture you and foster you, right? That offset ISIS type of energy, right? People that are able to show you love and treat you like family. That is the key to happiness. Nothing material, nothing material. But America pushes materialism on you, pushes these celebrities on you to show you what you are supposed to think, right? It's programming at the highest level. So let's look at all these things on CBS. CBS airs several award shows, right? Including the NAACP Image Awards and the Grammy Awards. However, the Grammy Awards will no longer air on CBS starting in 2027. All right, which means they're probably going to have something else, right? But it says several award shows, right? So list of programs, right? As I said, it's definitely more. The Grammy Awards, Tony Awards, Country Music Awards, Golden Globe Awards. All right. I'm sure this is the American Music Awards, right? So all these award shows, right? Golden Globe Awards, so they have this shit on lock, right? With controlling the perception, creating the artists they want to create for you. So don't think that this is just organic, right? The recording or academy is just so nice, right? No, right? They want them to be the influencers so that the people, the powers that were, the so-called powers that be, the so-called elite, the people behind the veil, can control what you do, what you drink, what you eat, right? These celebrities all have products, right, that they're selling you. Puff Diddy had the Ciroc, right? The puffy juice, as 50 would call it, right? Beyonce got a liquor right now. She got a whiskey that people are running out. And this is the thing, too, about like this whole boycott, and we're going to boycott Target. All we got to do is, all Beyonce got to do is drop a soap. Beyonce could drop a soap. Oh, she just ran the Grammys, too? She could drop a soap on February the 3rd, February the 8th. She could drop a soap Target. And guess what? That boycott will be over. The fake boycott. Because I remember when niggas was boycotting the NFL. That didn't last long. I remember when niggas was boycotting H&M. That didn't last long. I remember when niggas was boycotting Gucci. That didn't last long, right? And the list goes on and on. Oh, Balenciaga, which showed children being placed in BDSM gear, right? Bondage gear, right? For torture, right? I've seen people say, oh, we're going to boycott Balenciaga. That didn't last long. Their favorite celebrities still wear it and they still love them, right? Even DJ Academics recently, right? Grooming a 15-year-old child that has no mother, no father. That kid Noor has no mother and no father that DJ Academics was grooming, telling that he's going to send hookers to, and that he wants him to sleep with older women. And the kid's like, nah, this is grooming. He's saying, don't you want to sleep with Black Boy Max's? Don't you want to sleep with Black Boy Max's sister? He's like, nah, she's of age. She's older than me. That's grooming. And they're like, what that mean? This is DJ Academics doing this, right? To a 15-year-old kid, talking about telling a little boy about, sucking wieners and all that, right? So this is the type of, and I don't see people boycotting DJ Academics. I see a lot of people that are here talking about him, but they're still following him. As soon as I heard that nasty shit, I unfollowed him, right? What I need that information from him for, right? I could get that information, hip hop information from anywhere else, right? I'm resourceful. He's not the only one that has information. He's getting it from someone else himself. So, and if you look at his page, and when I looked at that, I was really looking at his page. All he does is promote this type of energy, right? This materialistic, money is everything. All you need is money. If you have money, you have happiness. If you have money, you have peace. If you have money, you have joy. Now, money does pay the bills, right? Let's not get that twisted. I love money and money loves me. I'm very attractive to money. Money loves to date me. Money loves to take me out to eat. Money loves to take me on flights, right? Money loves to make sure I dress nice and wear nice clothes. Money allows me to pay my rent, right? Money allows me to pay my car note. Money allows me to pay my insurance and make sure my kids can be taken care of in the future and now, right? Money loves me. So I don't have any issues with money. But I do know that money is the value of money. Money is not backed by gold anymore. So money is what we created and what we invented to be, just like crypto. Crypto came out of nowhere, and people are using real money or fake money, fiat money, to buy crypto, which is another fake money system, right? Regardless of how it works and the blockchain and all that, it's still people's perception of the value based on what they're investing in it, right? So this whole world is a perception game, right? It's how you view things. It's how you see things. And if you really want to be protected moving forward in 2025, you have to create your own perceptions of what's valuable. I'm not saying follow influencers and separate from celebrities, but what I am saying is that the people that are really giving you real knowledge, real gnosis, real wisdom that are helping you in your day-to-day life where the information is practical, those are the people that you should support, not these celebrities. Like this was at the 2024 Super Bowl. You know, you see uh Ice Spice and them all wearing black, right? The witches of Eastwick, right? All wearing black. This is not coincidence. This is not coincidence. This is confirmation, right? You see even Jay-Z, right? The Super Bowl game wearing black, right? And where is Beyonce, right? In her witchiness himself, wearing black, all black, right? The same thing I just showed you was Swiss in them, all right? The same thing I just showed you was Swiss in them. This was at the Grammys tonight, all right? Swiss and Dr. Dre. Look at the themes, right? These are multiple Grammy Awards, right? Why they and even Kanye, right, came through in black, right? They know the science, right? They know the science. You keep seeing these black and white themes, the Masonic checkerboard, right? Which again is about controlling perception. The CBS, right? Which I just showed you. This is what they do. But remember, at one point, it was who gives a damn about a goddamn Grammys, right? They basically had the hip hop culture was not recognized by the Grammys, right? They weren't giving the hip hop any love, right? And what happened was there was a boycott, a real boycott, right? And this was in 1989, all right? And it says two of five rap groups nominated for Grammy Awards gathered at noon yesterday to reaffirm their boycott of last night's televised ceremonies. DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince and Salt and Pepper appeared at the West Hollywood press conference coordinated by New York-based Rush Management. All right. So basically, it says the boycott first announced 2 weeks ago in response to the best rap performance category, one of three added this year, being denied exposure on the televised portion of the Grammy ceremony. All right. So Public Enemy, Salt and Pepper, DJ Jazzy Jeff, and the French Prince, they gathered together to support a Grammy boycott. This was a real boycott, all right? They didn't go, all right? They didn't fake boycott. This was a real boycott against the industry, all right? So it says, we're ecstatic they made a rap category, and we're ecstatic that we were nominated, but we deserve better than that, all right? And we do deserve better than that. We need to create our own Grammys. We're rerunning. We're not we're televised on CBS, but where we have our own stations and we're able to produce our own things, and that's where we're coming to, right? That's the stage where we're getting to, because sooner or later, right, these people are not going to be able to control us, and we're going to see how far America's going to fall. Now, this was a Grammy after party that night that they actually boycotted, and I want you to see who's here. And this is leads to the elevation of the Forbes list and with rappers being put on the Forbes list, right? Because this is all about perception, right? And Diddy was a prominent name on the Forbes list. Jay-Z's a prominent name on the Forbes list. Kanye's a prominent name on the Forbes list, right? And we see all of them, I showed you, wearing black. They know what's up. Now, says Ice-T, Ad Rock, Slick Rick, and Fab Five Freddy. Fab Five Freddy was the host of Yo MTV Raps, and this is a Yo MTV Raps party. And then it says, no, that's not really Ad Rock. Even more incredible is billionaire publisher Malcolm Forbes. Now they have the Forbes list, right? Who was a surprise guest at the party. Remember, hip hop boycotted. So this after party was to celebrate the boycott. And it says later on, Slick Rick schooled Malcolm about never showing up to a party without your gold in full effect, right? So he came in, he saw that the culture was popping. Of course, he's a billionaire. He could see when you have money, you're able to take your time and sit back and reflect, because you don't have the pressures of day-to-day survival on your back, right? So he came in, he saw that this culture was popping, and he said, hey, I want in. So then you started, so shortly after this, right, you started seeing hip hop, which was never a mainstream thing. Some of you were too young to know that there were never hip hop stations that existed at one point in time at all. It was hip hop was centralized to like Stretch and Bobito, college radio stations. They might splash a Kumo D song, a Curtis Blow song, right? Who else? And that was like maybe every 4 or 5 hours, right? Like Fat Boys, stuff like that. Like the cleanest hip hop. You might have some Rapper's Delight, right? Those songs that kind of set the tone, but they were far and few between. The rest was R&B songs, Al B. Sure and shit like that, right? But when he came in, right, and saw this, he put a stamp. In my belief is that when he saw that, he was like, yeah, we want to put some money behind this and we're going to make it pop, right? We're going to make it go the way we want to. And I just want to show you that with the Grammys, right, what's been happening is like, um, yeah, it says the event's greatest souvenirs might have been the photo shot with surprise guest Malcolm Forbes, the billionaire founder of the business magazine that bore his name, who arrived at the party on a motorcycle. What was the attraction? Perhaps Forbes liked the style of these young rappers. No, not just the style. He saw the money, right? This is a billionaire. Forbes was notable for a lavish content hopping lifestyle that including a private Boeing 727 jet, a fleet of motorcycles, a 40-acre estate, balloon racing, and appearances with some of the most glamorous women, including Elizabeth Taylor, right? Indeed, the rappers in Forbes comprised a happy little mutual admiration society. All right. And again, this was under the headline, Who Gives a F About a Goddamn Grammy? All right. And the March issue of The Source ran an account of the boycott and the after party written by Ted Dem, the producer of Yo MTV Raps. And this was the photo we just saw. All right. So, and do you know like that Macklemore, right? Macklemore, who y'all might be like, who is that, right? Macklemore has more Grammys than DMX, more Grammys than Nas, more Grammys than uh, LL Cool J, more Grammys than most people. I think that's in this article. I'm just looking and see if it is. Yeah, look at this, right? Some things don't change, however. Most obviously, the Grammy Awards are still pissing off rap music lovers. It says, all right, just making sure y'all still with me. It says that, and hit the like button if you are here for the algorithm. I do appreciate it. It says, so in a piece posted online 2 days before the broadcast of the Grammys this year, Complex did dead aim at the awards show as a way of marking the 25th anniversary of the presentation of the first rap Grammy. We expect the worst because it's clear the Grammys don't give a shit about rap. The main reason we're so pessimistic is because Macklemore won 3 out of the 4 Grammys, which means the Seattle rapper has more Grammys than Tupac, Biggie, Nas, DMX, Busta Rhymes, KRS-One, Rick Ross, Snoop Dogg, Mos Def, Run DMC, Public Enemy, Big Pun, Jeezy, Ja Rule, and Kendrick has 21 now, so that's not anymore. But because again, they're trying to get Kendrick on their side, right? And they know that he's about to do the Super Bowl next week, right? Well, this Sunday, right? So, we don't want to worship anybody, even Kendrick, right? We want to really look and see what's really popping. Now, this is interesting because it says 9 signs. This was in 2015. This wasn't that far away, just 10 years ago. 9 signs that the Grammys don't know shit about, right? And if you look at the stats, it's pretty obvious that the Grammys get rap wrong most of the time. So why would they all of a sudden this year get rap right? Why all of a sudden would they get rap right this year? Like, what in your mind makes you think that these people are so benevolent that all of a sudden they want to make sure that rap is being presented in the right light? Right? It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Again, it's controlling your perception, putting these things on, putting these people on a pedestal so that you pedestalize them. All right. Now the audio is probably not going to play on this, so I'm going to do this because they can't stop YouTube or StreamYard can't stop my shine. So let me just pull this up, y'all, and I'm going to show you how these award shows get created. So let me just remove this. I'm going to show y'all how these award shows get created.
I was part of the team at HBO. I ran it for a long time. Part of the team that invented how to get awards. Yeah. Okay. And it is a formula. And it starts with television, but it's targeted at specific kinds of audience.
Let me turn off my green.
Doing things. I think.
Let me turn off my green screen. Hold up, y'all. Because I want y'all to see. What actually is going down. So let me show y'all this. 1 second. While you waiting, smack that like button for me for the algorithm.
The thing about the awards thing is I was part of the team at HBO. I ran it for a long time. Part of the team that invented how to get awards. Yeah. Okay. And it is a formula. And it starts with good television, but it's targeted at specific kinds of audiences. Yeah. We're in the business of making money. We're at the Business Insider conference. You know? And I read Business Insider.
I'm gonna play this back one more time so you hear what he say.
Someone else says yes immediately. Listen, I haven't fished one television show that has a soul. We got a lot of stuff with Curtis. You know, the thing.
Listen.
The thing about the awards thing is I was part of the team at HBO. I ran it for a long time. Part of the team that invented how to get awards. Yeah. Okay. And it is a formula. And it starts with good television, but it's targeted at specific kinds of audiences. Yeah. We're in the business of making money. We're at the Business Insider conference.
So he's saying that it's targeted at certain audiences, right? Basically, he's saying we create the award shows. We create who's going to win. We create who's going to lose. We tell you what's up, right? He's in the business of making money. That's it, right? So they don't really care about this inclusion thing. They're doing this, again, to bring you back to their side. And you're going to see Super Bowl 2025, you're going to see them again wearing black. Guaranteed you'll see these celebrities wearing black. Mark my words. I put money on it. I put big money on it that you're going to see these celebrities wearing black and white again. Because, again, it's about controlling your attention, right? They invented how to get awards, right? We invented it, right? And this is another guy that's a billionaire that's running. This was an interview of this guy that's running Stars, Chris Albrecht, right? So it just goes to show you what they're really doing behind the scenes. And again, it's all how you see things. The minute y'all understand that it's based on what this shit is based on what you perceive and not what you think it is, right? You'll get further ahead spiritually. Once you understand it's how you look at life. Those are what the neurons that fire together wire together, right? Whatever you focus on expands. Whatever you focus on grows. That is third eye vision at the max. That is utilizing your third eye at the max. And most people don't understand that is because they haven't ascended spiritually and haven't put in the work to be able to achieve that. There's a science, before I get into this video, there's a science that's spiritual science, right? That states that, well, there's a spiritual science that states, man, I lost my train of thought. Let me get to the video. I'll come back to me. Let me know if y'all can hear this. Drop a study.
Harold Smith, when he came out west, you took it to a whole new level, put us on covers, rolling.
Y'all here?
First of all, thanks to Dr. Dre said he up is Andre Young. Thank you, sir. All the doors that you open, showed us that we can be rock stars. Seeing you on the Rolling Stone. Obviously, there's Run DMC with the Leathers and the Aerosmith. When you came out west, you took it to a whole new level. Put us on
If
covers,
you can hear,
Rolling
one if you
Stone,
can't hear.
put us around the world. You and Snoop, all that y'all did, all the records y'all broke. So thank you for this. Honored to accept it. And thank you to Black Music Collective for all the work that you guys do, scholarships for young creators, and hopefully, I'm adding to, what you guys are doing out here. Obviously, it's great to have an award for such an icon. How far we've come with Will Smith and them, Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince winning their first Grammy in '89 and boycotted because it wasn't televised. And then they went to like a hotel and watched the Grammys. I didn't even understand it.
But Jay-Z's
wasn't a great.
So Jay-Z's basically gonna criticize the Grammys. This was just last year, right? This was just last year.
Boycott. Yeah. But then '98, I took a page out of their book. I was nominated for the best rap album, and DMX had dropped 2 albums that year. They both were #1. Shout out to DMX. And he wasn't nominated at all. So I boycotted, and I watched the Grammys. I'm just saying, we want y'all to get it right. We love y'all. We love y'all. We love y'all. We want y'all to get it right. At least get it close to right. And obviously it's subjective. Y'all don't gotta clap at everything. Obviously it's subjective because, it's...
Now, another funny thing about this video is that there's much crisper, better video than this. But when I looked, I couldn't find it. It's almost like they scrubbed the speech off the internet and gave us just this, right? Which is very interesting.
Music is opinion based, but some things, I don't want to embarrass this young lady, but she has more Grammys than everyone and never won album of the year. So even by your own metrics, that doesn't work. Think about that. Most Grammys never won album of the year. That doesn't work.
So Beyonce won album of the year, but she won it for a country album. You know what I'm saying? So this is what they do, right? This is how they give you, a reality that they want you to have, but it's not the reality that you may not. I'm gonna put this up. This may not be the reality that you necessarily want for yourself, right? So they control it, they create it, right? They control the perception of this whole thing. It's not organic at all, right? So I want to talk about this real quick, right? This particular movie. Clarissa Shields had her fight today. She had her fight and she won. And shout out to Clarissa Shields, right? I like watching her fight, man. I like the way she fights. I like her technique. I like her aggression, right? I just like the way she moves in the ring, right? It's very powerful. You know what I'm saying? So she has this movie, The Fire Inside, right? And if you look at it, one thing's for sure, two things for certain is this person on the cover is her mentor, right? And they highly feature him in the movie. And also when you think of The Fire Inside, you have to think of Kundalini energy, that Ra energy, that Chi energy. And this is what I was going to talk about earlier, right? Ma'at in Egyptian mythology or Egyptian spirituality, Ma'at is considered the daughter of Ra. So Ra is electromagnetic energy, right? It's a high frequency. It's quote unquote being a high vibrational being, right? How do you become a high vibrational being? Well, it's again what you focus on, because your brain generates the electricity, right? And what you feel. Your heart generates the magnetism, right? But your heart creates and generates the full electromagnetic field itself. It comes from the heart, but the electricity is the start. So it starts with your thoughts and visions, which create your emotions, and your emotions create your aura field or your electromagnetic field, which will bring things in and push things out. So Like, for instance, I just bought a ticket, right, for a vacation today, right? I'm not scared of going on a plane, right? With all this stuff that's happening, there's no fear. I fear less. But why? But I've cultivated through my thoughts, through my visions, right? Through how I feel in my thoughts and visions, my emotions, energy, emotion, protection, right? So I go into it feeling protected. I go into it to the plane feeling like nothing's happening to it. Over the next couple of months, I'll be meditating every day, and my visions will be on a flight safe. On any flight I take, safe and sound. And guess what? I'll be on a flight safe and sound, guaranteed, right? Guaranteed. I have no doubt about it, right? I have no doubt about it. But that's because I'm generating this field so that even if there was a situation that was to come up, I would go towards the plane, and guess what? Something would happen, right? I might lose something. You know what I'm saying? My pants might tear. Something might fall off my bag or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I might spill ketchup on me. Something will happen that'll cause me not to get on the plane, or I'll just have a feeling, right? Because my electromagnetic field is up, my aura is up. I'm generating this fire inside, right, to create this energy, so that I'm able to now place force, right, and influence the universe to work on my behalf so that it'll protect me. It'll tell me to stay home. It'll tell me not to go this place. It'll tell me, nah, chill today. You don't need to be there, right? This is where I want us all to get to, right? To that point. So with Ma'at being the goddess of balance, the goddess of harmony, the goddess of truth, right? You have to have a strong electromagnetic field, which is what Ra represents. It's not the sun. Ra represents the electromagnetic field from the sun, which is what? Enlightenment. Sun is light. It brings information. It brings clarity. It brings truth, right? The truth always comes to light. So you generating that fire inside, this is your main thing to do. I've been saying this the last couple of videos. This winter, you want to generate that fire inside so that you could fight, so that you have that power, right? That Clarissa Shields energy, right? So I want to say, so that's the main thing to achieve Ma'at. You cannot achieve true harmony and true balance and true oneness with the universe if you hate men, if you hate women, if you're a misogynist or a misandrist, right? And in this movie, what they didn't do is they did not highlight the father's influence, right, in her career. And her father, interestingly enough, his name is Bo Shields, right? I'm just talking about an electromagnetic field or an electromagnetic shield. In the Bible, it's called the breastplate of righteousness, all right? You generating this particular frequency or this particular energy, right, will create a shield around you. You won't be touched. You won't have these worries. Now, am I saying that things won't happen to you? No. Unforeseen occurrences befall us all. Different challenges come up. But every challenge that comes up is designed to take you up another level spiritually. You know how much shit I've been through to get to where I am spiritually? You know how much ups and downs, how much fights with myself, right? How many self wars? Because everything is a war with yourself. Even if you have an opponent out there, it's a war to figure out how to defeat that opponent or how to overcome that challenge, right? Or how to strategize your way out of a particular situation, or what spirits you need to harness and embody in order to become the vessel of that divine spirit that needs to get through that challenge. You have ancestors that were warriors. You have ancestors that were scientists. You have ancestors that read a lot. You have ancestors that fished, that did all sorts of stuff, whatever you need, that wrote papers, right? That were in college, right? Whatever spirit you need to take on, there's a spirit out there. This is why in the Aruba culture, there's so many different deities and they call it polytheism. No, there's a different spirit for everything. I always say, and just to use a quick example, there's a spirit you have around your boyfriend and girlfriend versus the spirit you have when you're at work, versus the spirit you have when you're around your mom and dad, versus the spirit you have when you're chilling with your homegirls or your homeboys, versus the spirit that you have when you're around your children, right? Versus the spirit you have when you're in school. And it keeps going and going and going, right? So all those spirits, right? There's a deity or energy matrix of light and sound that you're supposed to invoke. People treat their altars like it's quid pro quo. All right. They treat it like, okay, I'm gonna go to my altar, I'm gonna work with this deity, and I give them this, and they're gonna give me something. That's quid pro quo, right? I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna get that. And it does work like that. Like that is the equation. But the real equation, right? Besides just because usually that's just for material things or material goods or manifesting something tangible. But the real science is for you to give those offerings so you could become that spirit. You could walk as that spirit. You could act as that spirit. You could take on that energy yourself and live as that spirit, right? Doing a ritual, for instance, to Oshun, right? And you're not joyful, right? You're not kind. You don't have any seductive powers to you, right? That's not really you tapping into the Oshun energy, right? That's just you begging for some shit, right? And giving sunflowers, honey, 5 oranges, and things like that to tap into that energy. And yes, it'll probably garner you something in the physical 3D dimension, right? But you want to become a god on earth. The main mission for you is to be a god man or a god woman. That's it. Final destination. Until you do that, and until you get to that point, and it doesn't mean that there's a level of, blamelessness or flawlessness, right? You're not a chosen one. And I know that's a popular thing. You're not a chosen one until you die. Matter of fact, let me put myself on the big screen to express that. You aren't a chosen one until you die. You don't know until you get judged, right? And according to the commissions, right, you get judged by on the Anubis scale, right? They go watch American Gods, the first season, where they break that down, how you're judged by Anubis, right? Depending on your heart being as light as a feather. And that means you are totally in your crown chakra. You have non-attachment, and this includes your children, right? You're willing to die for what you believe in. You're willing to die for the truth. Malcolm did it, right? He died for the truth. A lot of people did it. I don't even have to go through it, right? People that are truth tellers and people who went to jail and died and sacrificed. Even in the mythology of Jesus, right? He died for the truth. You have to be willing to die for truth. You have to be willing to die. No matter if it offends anybody, if it separates you from your family and friends, right? You have to be willing to die to understand and live truth, not your opinion, not your feelings, right? The truth. And the truth is that you are living God here on earth. The truth is that you are in a vessel of the divine. And the truth is you have the ability to generate a powerful electromagnetic field, an aura, or a shield, or a breastplate of righteousness in order to magnetize what you want here on earth and in the heavens of your consciousness. Period, point blank. And that's the work that we are all doing here. And it's a daily operation. So you need some sort of daily rituals to tap in to the spirit, which is within. And it's going to involve some sort of breath work and connection to nature. And you don't have to be outside to connect to nature. You connect to nature through new moon, full moon rituals, solstice rituals, equinox rituals, right? You can connect to nature through taking herbs in your teas, through using herbs in rituals, root work, and things like that, right? You don't even have to leave your house necessarily to tap into nature, just acknowledging it, right? And this also allows you to tap into your ancestral memories and unlock the DNA that is within you. Your ancestors are not out there somewhere, right? They're not out in space somewhere. You have DNA within you that goes all the way back to the first man and woman that you can unlock, which contains all the spirits that you need. In fact, the angel is nothing but an angle of light that unlocks your ancestors. So let's get back to this this movie, The Fire Inside. And everything I was just talking about was activating Kundalini energy, which is what this year is about. A hermit year, developing the spirit, right? Developing courage, developing strength, developing power, right? The fire inside, right? But in the movie, they didn't highlight her father as being an influence, right? Which is what I didn't like. It says Shields was born and raised in Flint, Michigan, where she was a high school junior in May 2012. She was introduced to boxing by her father, Bo Shields, who had boxed in underground leagues. Bo was in prison by the time Shields was 2 to 9 years old. So when he came out at 9, when she was 9, remember this is 2025. 2025 equals 9, right? So there's significance in the movie being dropped last year, but him also being omitted in the movie is a form of misandry. And what I want to say too, especially the mystical women and the spiritual women out here, like, let's just look at mine, right? And this is not me being narcissistic. I just want to use myself as an example for this point, right? Because there's a lot of spiritual misandry out here. There's a lot of hatred of men, right? And I want to say this before I even get into my astrology. If I wanted to come on this internet and talk about all the things that I've gone through with women, with narcissistic women, with toxic women, with materialistic women, I could go on. I could have a 2-3 hour show easily. I could do that. I could do that probably for every day this week, every day this month, and next month. I have a story to tell. Facts, right? And it's all my doing because I attracted them, right? Everyone is a reflection of me. But I have a story to tell, all right? So I could say, and there's some people that do this, right? They demonize women, right? They're misogynists. They hate women. They think women are evil. And this is due to what they went through in childhood. Because contrary to popular demand, right, or popular opinion, all women are not sugar and spice. All women are not sweet. All women, there's some women, people be like, oh, we give birth, so we're the divine matriarch because we give birth. Well, I know mothers who hate their kids. I know mothers who hate their children. I know mothers who give birth and don't give a fuck about their children. I know mothers who give birth and sell their children. I know mothers who give birth and pimp their children. Facts. Pimp. Yes, pimp their children. Put them on the tracks, literally. These are mothers, right? These are mothers, the nurturers, right? There's mothers that have their children stealing from stores, shoplifting, right? Have them selling dope, have them doing drills, shooting, right? We've all seen, well, not all of us, but a lot of us have seen Raising Canaan and how his mother was manipulating him and raising Canaan. So this whole thing about the divine feminine being the only path and men are going to die. And I've been hearing this rhetoric. And I remember my mom used to say this because she used to watch Oprah, and Oprah used to always create a mantra, again, creating perception, right? Through sound and light, right? She'd have these shows and create this mantra that men are this species that are going to, all of a sudden that we're an endangered, especially so-called black men. We're an endangered species. We're going to die off, right? We're not going to be in existence past the year 2000. We're going to start dying off. And I hear so-called mystical women saying this shit now too. Like, this is so-called spiritual teachers, right? Saying this shit. Same shit Oprah was saying back in the 90s, in the late 80s, right? I hear so-called mystical women saying that, we're going to, that men, they got to get it together. And, they need these women for this. No, we need each other. Ladies and gentlemen, we need each other. It's Orset and Orser that create Heru. It's Orset and Orser. It's Osiris and Isis that create Horus, right? It's Osiris and Isis that create Horus. You needed Joseph and Mary to bring Jesus, aka the Christ, to life in the mythology, right? You need these forces, masculine and feminine energy. There is no baby without the sperm. Your sperm is the spinal cord, right? Because that's one of the first things before the heart. There's an actual cord that develops in the womb. This is science. You don't have to believe my opinion, right? There's a cord or a tube, right? I forgot the name of the tube or the spinal, but you can look it up. That actually forms before the heart, right? That's the sperm that enters the egg, and that tube is formed that creates the spine and the brain. The brain is the head of the sperm, and it's I mean, use your imagination, right? We've all seen the nervous system in high school and junior high, right? With a brain and the spine. And you could see that there's a tailbone that is the tail of the sperm, right? Now, when it comes to man is air, right? Man is activation, right? Man is penetration. Man is movement, right? Man is aggression and assertion. Women are relaxation. Women are the inner plane, right? Women are the soul, right? Women are retraction, right? Contraction. So women represent the earth plane, right? So the organs and all that stuff is feminine, right? But when you look at like the nervous system, the spinal cord, all those things that's really attached to the nervous system itself, that's masculine energy, right? Kundalini has to be activated, right? You need fuel for Kundalini. This is why diet is important, because you need that serotonin to rise up, right? You need that good fuel, right? You need to be able to breathe a certain way to channel that energy upward. You need to be doing rituals to channel that energy upward, right? And it's not just, with your altar, right? You have to do inner work, shadow work, and things like that. So again, you are light as a feather. But this is not to say that there should be a separation. Like it takes two. It takes a man and a woman to create a child. It takes you creating, you're having a vision, which is feminine, right? You having thoughts, which is masculine, to create the electricity to now create the magnetism, which is feminine, right? Of the electromagnetic field, which is masculine, right? But the energy behind it is feminine. But the actual actualization where it attracts and repels, because that's what magnetism does, right? Not just attracts, but also repels. So the attraction is feminine, the repelling is masculine. This is why when you see the Commission, he has the rod, right? You see the sarcophaguses, right? He has the rod and the crook, I'm sorry, which brings things in, and the flail, and it's crossed Wakandan style, right? The arms are crossed Wakandan style because it's a balanced energy. Stop saying that men are this and we are that and we need to do this. And no, y'all need to do that. Especially if you're thinking like that. If you're thinking men are some sort of demonized, wicked, that's your trauma and that's your shadow work that you need to work on, because you've had experiences. And I notice it's mostly single women. It's mostly single women, older women over 40, that's delivering this message that men are some sort of evil, demonized, can't be wicked. We all have different constructions, ladies and gentlemen. Myself, I'm a Scorpio, but I'm on the cusp between Libra and Scorpio. So I'm a balanced type of Scorpio, not the normal Scorpio, right? And I was born on the full moon. My moon is in Gemini. That represents two sides of the force, right? My rising is in Cancer, right? So that represents emotional energy. So it's water, air, Gemini, water, Cancer. All right. So feminine energy is part of my traits, right? Part of my traits is being nurturing. Part of my traits is being emotional or using and my emotions sometimes have gotten the best of me, right? And sometimes that emotion is anger, right? Because that's the masculine expression when you don't really know, especially when I was younger, right? It's anger, right? Or it's fear, or it's worry, or it's criticism, or it's being self-critical, right? On a negative aspect. Or it could be joy, or it could be fun, or it could be enlightenment, right? Or it could be being funny, right? It's different aspects of that energy, right? But we are not all, some guys have more fire in their chart, right? Look at, when you meet these guys, have you looked at their charts? Like, take some accountability for your hurt. Have you looked at their charts, right? Have you looked and said, okay, let me see my chart, right? Which is, what type of shots you got. Do you got diseases, right? What accountability have you taken in the past? Because all this misandry that you're spreading, no, there's many mystical Hogans. There's many mystical Babalaos. There's many mystical mystics that could do a lot in this mystical community. And we don't need division at this time. We don't need separation at this time. That's for the people that don't know any better. That's for the people that are not following a spiritual path. right? But to bring it into a spiritual path is demonic, and not a daemon or a genius, like demonic as in low vibration, as in setting us back, right? Do I think a man that's on a spiritual path needs a spiritual woman? Absolutely. Absolutely. But do I also think a woman on a spiritual path needs a spiritual man? Absolutely. And it's not just one way, as y'all are kicking it. It's not just one way. It's not just, oh, a man, men, or you got to have a witch, or you got to have a spiritual woman around you, or else. What about you? Single woman? Cat ladies? What about you? So that's what happened in this movie, The Fire Inside, right? There was misandry. They hid the father's influence in Clarissa Shields' life. But at the age of 9, he's the one that taught her. And there's articles with him talking about it. There's videos with him talking about it. He's the one that taught her how to fight. He's the one that influenced her to get into boxing. Without him, there would be no Clarissa Shields. There would be no world champion female fighter, right? That would not exist without his influence in her life. And he came out of prison. So spiritual women, mystical women, y'all need to stop the misandry. It's not right. It's not cool. And you're misleading your people. And it's definitely not balanced. It's definitely not ma'at. It's definitely not divine feminine. So, and with that, I'm going to say, this is what it is, right? Luke 17:20-21. This is something you should try to memorize. If not the verses, just a scripture. And it says, and this is the Christ, right? And it says, when he was demanding of the Pharisees when the kingdom of God should come, he answered then and said, the kingdom of God cometh not with observation, meaning you can't see it in a feminine body. You can't see it in a masculine body. You can't see it in a preacher, a rabbi, a pope, right? A church, a temple, a mosque, whatever, right? Wherever. The kingdom of God is not with observation. Says neither, they say, lo here, lo there, for behold, the kingdom of God is within you. It doesn't say the kingdom of God is with women. It doesn't say the kingdom of God is with men. The kingdom of God is within all of us. But we have to decide if we're going to align with that, or we're going to align with the celebrities, or we're going to align with Cardi B worship, with Beyonce worship, or we're going to align with drill music worship, or hip hop worship. We're going to align with, whatever, everything outside of us, fear, right? Anxiety. Oh, I can't get on a plane now. Look at what's happening. Oh, I'm not getting on no planes like some of these YouTube teachers be teaching y'all. Oh, stay off them planes. But what if I got shit to do, nigga? What if I got business to handle and I'm on planes all the time? Right? What if I got a child to see that's not in my state? You're going to tell me to get off the planes? Then what? What's the alternative? I'm going to take buses and everywhere? No, that's inconvenient. No, I'm going to strengthen my teach me how to strengthen my spirituality. Teach me how to strengthen my spirit. Teach me how to strengthen my aura, right? So that I could go on a plane and feel confident. So I could go on a plane and feel comfortable. So I could go on a plane knowing that I'm God, nigga. And nothing in this world is going to attack me that I don't want to attack me. And nothing in this world is going to destroy me. Fearless. If you're on this path and you are not fearless, like I remember when last year they had this frequency, right? And a lot of so-called mystical people was like, oh, turn off the phone and put your laptop and bury your laptop and put your shit in the microwave and all type of shit, right? And I'm not saying you're supposed to just straight listen to the frequency, but if they tell you that the frequency is coming and they preparing you for it, then it's not as powerful as you think it is, because they're not going to tell you. You're just going to hear the frequency one day on your phones. It's going to just all sync up, which has happened where they didn't tell you. I've lived long enough to know where I've just heard shit coming out of my phone, a frequency, and I didn't get any notice. And what you do is you turn off the phone. How many times have you heard, even in the movie Leave the World Behind, there was a frequency on Leave the World Behind. There was a couple of frequencies. You're supposed to turn that shit down. When you hear spells and shit like that, when you watching movies, you're supposed to turn that shit down. The minute you start to hear it, turn it off. Turn it down, right? Watch it, but turn it down, right? Because they are influencing you, right? They are trying to implant something in your mind. That's the real problem. Not them telling you that a frequency is going to hit and you just, start panicking. No. Masculine energy is going to tell you not, if you're tapped into your masculine, instead of just being tapped into your divine feminine, you're tapped into your divine masculine, both sides of the force. You're able to, the yin and the yang, you're able to protect yourself. You're able to see these things before they come. And a lot of y'all can't get men because of the mindset y'all have. Because you're constantly putting that message out, the divine masculine cannot attract to you. The divine masculine can't attract to you because I see it's single women. I'm sorry. Unfollow me. I don't care. I'm not pushing shit on y'all. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. So the kingdom of heaven is not in a person, right? Or a person outside of you, or a situation outside of you. The kingdom of heaven is in you. And once we tap into that and understand that, we'll be better off as a community, as a society, and as especially a spiritual, mystical, quote unquote, occult, esoteric community. But as long as you have women on this internet telling people that men are bad, that men are evil, that men are giving birth to these, women are giving birth to these men that are tearing up the world. Do I believe? Yes, we are living in a masculine, hyper-masculine world that is trying to balance itself out with feminine energy currently. That's why you see the female rappers rising right now, because music, hip-hop, is a reflection of the energy of the day and time that it is in, right? But at the same time, while it is becoming balanced, we have to recognize that this external world, we are in the world, but not of the world. So yes, even though men run it, there are women behind these men. There are mothers behind these men. There are sisters behind these men, right? Both Melania is a wife, right, of Trump, right? JD Vance has a wife, right? There are women that support these men, that nurture these men, that encourage these men. They have mothers, right? They didn't just come, these men just didn't come out of thin air and decided to be warmongers. Regardless if you like, okay, women were first. Yeah, there's Lucy. Lucy was the first woman. Great. But she had to give birth to a son at some point in time. There were a lot of male kings, male pharaohs, right? She had to do, women gave birth to men. It just is what it is. I don't know what to tell you, right? Probably Lucy, the first woman, gave birth to a boy to balance these things out. And how did she give birth? Right? There had to be a guy somewhere, unless you believe, the whole Jesus story that, people get impregnated out of nowhere. And please don't give me the part Genesis, because that's just for animals. There's no proof that humans could do that. Only animals, where they give birth within themselves, unto themselves, without the need of a man. That's in the animal kingdom. And until you heifers can show me a woman that's doing that in the here and now, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Or show me some DNA proof that it happened in the recent times, last 2, 3, 4, 500 years. Don't sell me the BS. All right. We need each other. We need to be more balanced. Right. And you're not going to be balanced if you're not really sincere about doing the work. If you're just doing this for money, which a lot of these so-called mystics are, then you'll be able to tell who they are by what they're saying. Right. You'll be able to tell who they are by what they're saying. A tree is known by its fruit. A tree is known by its fruit. All right. So with that being said, I gotta get ready to hit the gym. I love y'all. Peace, power, and prosperity. Hit a like button for the YouTube algorithm. Let me know what you think about what I said in the comments. Let me know what you think about this Grammy situation. Should we applaud it? Should we think this is a good thing? Or is it just a way to trap us and keep us watching the Grammys for the next 100 years and never creating our own award show, never creating our own ways of distributing music, never creating our own Spotify, never creating our own UMG, right? To constantly be pimped by Jews and Gentiles and people that are not like us. There's no way you're going to award Not Like Us when Not Like Us is talking about y'all, unless you're trying to harness that energy for yourself and harness the energy of Kendrick's Super Bowl, which is happening this Sunday. Peace, power, and prosperity. Rob Blackstone. One love.